Oh
The
my
bloopers.
God. We're all going to the show. We're all going to the show. And I was like, this underwear just felt kind of weird. It just didn't feel right. And then I was like looking at everyone, like, I think I asked someone like their underwear. And then Priscilla, she's like, these are women's underwear. Like, I was wearing these granny woman underwear into the goddamn show. That's all they gave me. So I thought that everyone got it. No, it literally went up to here and like down here, that big and granny. I didn't even know how to do it to make it like fit properly. We're dying laughing on the bus. But yeah, that's the story of my life, right? You know, shit always happens to me, and it's like the
That
funny,
was
like
so funny.
I didn't want to bother anyone. I didn't want to bother anyone. So yes, I died. I died with granny underwear. Okay, it's fine. It's okay. I died with granny underwear. It's fine.
I was standing right there with Priscilla too when you were like, my underwear uncomfortable. She's like, Henry, these are women's underwear. And it's like the funniest thing. I guess like go figure like that.
You died with granny underwear, a true martyr for the cause. That is the perfect, hilarious, tragic story to kick off part 2 of The Fate of O. Welcome back to Squid Strengths. And quick note, this is AI Bryant taking over. My media files got lost due to a technical glitch, but the story must go on. Don't worry, this is still Bryant. Perhaps just a Bryant that talks slower. Now we're deep into The Count, the first game of Season 2 of Squid Game, The Challenge. We're diving into the 12 seconds that ended it all, the complete chaos Ryan mentioned, and the feeling of helplessness as we all stood there watching our game burn down in flames. Ryan, your intellection and strategic thinking strengths must have been screaming when you saw that we couldn't even begin the game right. What were you processing as you watched us fail?
Well, one, we didn't start on the right count, so you already knew we were at a disadvantage going into it. And then just as things were playing out, you knew it was going a little slow. You feel so helpless, though, standing there because, you know, you can't say anything. If you say anything, it's just going to break up everything. You got to just let it go. But the whole time, you're just letting it go is like you're just watching it dwindle down and you know you're about to probably lose this. And it's like, I did. That's what I did. I put my hands on my face. I was like, oh my God. Like, what do we do? You hear me say, oh my God. That was the one like little snippet you could hear me. Oh my God. It was hard to just accept, you know, you just had to sit there and just take it. My ego was really hurting on that one.
You can see in the episode too, but like it was also so apparent there when they're like, okay, your timer starts now. And then it just felt like forever passed. And then Ida goes, okay, I'm ready.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then she starts, and it's like, did she just start counting right now?
Yeah, I know.
And then it was out loud. And the other girl was like counting in her head, and Ida started counting out loud. There was a point where she started hitting her to like make her be quiet, and she didn't pick up on that at all. And I was like,
6, 7, 8, 9.
No. And I don't think the twin picked up on her starting as late as she did.
Oh my God, why has she only just started counting?
I know Jacket started counting, and Jacket was like hitting his leg, and I was sitting right next to him. Like I could hear him keeping the rhythm. And he was like, when he would get to 100, he was like 100. And then he'd keep going, and he'd be like 150. And it's like, I could hear Ada, and she's like 133. And Jacket's on like whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know this is bad. Like I was like, because his rhythm seems better than her rhythm, and they're not even close. And then the two people that were supposed to be counting, they like started syncing up because Ida was counting out loud. The only chance we have at this is if the other room could not figure out a game plan and they messed it up worse, because there was no way we were getting anywhere close to that number.
Yeah, and it's not like the twin was like analyzing all this to take things in consideration of when he was going to hit the button.
No.
He was completely just like looking around.
He needed to pull a Hail Mary, and he wasn't. He just separated himself from it entirely, and he's like, I'm just following blindly what these two people tell me. He should have been like, I'm also going to count because I'm the one pushing this button.
I feel like that helplessness, right?
I don't think he even tried to count.
I feel like the helplessness of like you already when you see like all so many missteps all happened. There was no collective decision that was made. So the helplessness is so horrible. Brittany, you make me feel a bit better now that you're right next to Jacket and he was counting, I felt like if Jacket was chosen, you would feel like I had control. If anything, one button is going to control my fate. I was like determined to at least vocalize this is what I want it to do. And it was just like, it's just so hard just seeing just play through it. And I just kept quiet afterwards, right? He's like, once you gave your opinion, nothing can happen, but you at least try to change your fate just a little bit. Just so many little things that was happening that it just could not control. And I was like, okay, exactly what you said. Unless the other side screws up horribly, we're not gonna, just already know.
I have a good question for you guys. So if we had the other twin, like the same group and the same people, but the twins were switched, do you think we would have had a better chance?
Yes, because based on that, yes. So what I saw, he had control of the room. He even said, shoot someone off. That's stupid. That's going to take time. He was leading, he was gathering people's ideas and then making the decisions.
Hi guys, shut up. Come on, listen.
Cleans people's bodies. So when he gets to 10, somebody goes to the wall. When he gets to 20,
I think that's too complicated.
He was making a decision. Exactly.
You know, the musician though had a lot of confidence in that X room. Like that helps a lot.
160, 161. Being in a band, I've had the opportunity to play for huge crowds, but the feeling in this room is so overwhelming. It's just not.
That like our musician's kind of timid. That musician was like, "Oh no, guys, I got that. Like I got this." I mean, would it have helped a little bit?
You also have to take into consideration that were those exes more susceptible to the leadership? If that twin was like, okay, guys, like this, I still think there would have been a lot of chaos in our room. Like, it's
I
really
don't
hard to
blame it
wrangle
all on
people.
the twin. Like our room was just
No.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
That's
That's
what I
true.
said. Like who knows what I would have done up there. Like,
Okay, so my inner strengths nerd is screaming right now. This is a textbook example of a lack of strengths awareness, and it comes from every side. We had Roger, a man who has taught music for 3 decades. The man knows rhythm. We had Tasha, who has been singing since she was 7. These are experts in timing. But were they the loudest? No. But this is exactly where strengths awareness becomes critical. It doesn't mean Roger wasn't confident. It means his strengths, perhaps harmony or arranger, were likely screaming at him, "Do not add to this chaos. You cannot fix this leaderless mess." In the midst of figuring out who should count, the group may have perceived his quiet, strategic withdrawal as a lack of confidence. This brings us to the ultimate question. Was Jacket the only person there who was confident? Or was he just the loudest person around who sounded most confident? This brings us to the most chaotic, head-turning moment of the whole game. The tackle. What did you guys see? Tell me the feeling in the dorm when, in the middle of this intense, quiet count, Jacket stands up next to Tasha and a few seconds later gets tackled by another player.
51, 52, 53. Look at this guy. I should get in.
well, I think the issue is though, is we don't like the group as a whole doesn't know all the conversations that are happening with those 4 or 5 select people. So like, to me, I heard Jacket actually was it because he was initially one of the guys that I thought was going to stand up and be counting. And so he was in some of those more intertwined conversations that I think he was a safe valve of like, hey, if you guys are too slow. But the problem is if you don't communicate that to the room, we don't understand that. So then when he is doing that, the person that goes and tackles him doesn't understand that. So then that creates chaos because you didn't communicate it to everyone. So again, it just goes back to like the leadership of everyone and just kind of having the room all handled. It's an unfair thing to just villainize him of like him going up when he was trying to help if he was truly in that conversation. His intent was good and I think he's a really smart guy. So I don't fault him for it. It's just that caused a lot. I mean, the whole room was so frantic after that happened. Everyone's just like, press button. That's
what just
like,
happened.
Oh no! Like you just knew it.
Push it.
Brittany, what was your perspective of that moment?
I feel like where I was sitting, I feel like I saw it from every single perspective. So from Tasha's perspective, when you're locked in and you're counting, you're like, this is really important. Like, it's not like she's like looking, she's like, oh, it's Jacket here. He's trying to help me out. Just like, get away from me. Like, I'm doing something right now. Yes. And then from the perspective of the,
She was like this.
I don't remember.
Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta let her do her thing. Like,
Yeah. So from the perspective of the entire room, I'm sure most of those people never even talked to Jacket. They didn't hear him saying all of this other stuff. So it's like, who is this guy trying to get his 10 seconds of fame? Which I do not think was Jacket's intention at all. And I can see it from Jacket's perspective too, because I think he really felt the helplessness when he was so confident in his counting.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was counting. He knew it was so far off. And that's why he was like, he bumped Alicia and he's like, tell him she's going too slow. And Alicia's like, she's going too slow. And he was like, she's 100% going too slow. He was so confident in himself and his counting. He's like, I can't sit here and watch this happen when I know that this is wrong. So I think he was like, I don't care who makes me out to look like a bad guy. Like, in this moment, this is super important and I have to do what I can do to fix this. Yes. Yeah. So I
He was
think
trying to
that's
control
it.
his
He
own
went
fate.
over there. He was like, I'm confident in myself and I have to take this into my own hands. And it just was perceived wrong because nobody else understood where he was coming from. And again, when you have these two people doing this, they're so locked into what they're doing in this task in hand. There's no time to process and be like, oh, like this guy's probably coming up to help me. Like, when you're literally counting seconds, like there's no seconds to even think about something else. So I can see where every perspective is totally different in that sense, because everyone probably had good intentions, but the communication was just so far off that it was hard to tell who really was doing what.
Brittany, that is a brilliant use of your individualization and empathy. You're 100% right. You saw 3 different valid realities happening at once. Tasha is in focus mode. The dorm is in protection mode, and Jacket is in I can't let us fail mode, and all 3 realities just crashed into each other. This is what caused the tragedy of O. It was a room full of competing strengths with no leader to align them. That is the perfect picture of the chaos, and what you're all describing is a classic communication breakdown. Perception becomes reality. But there's another layer here, and it goes right to intent versus impact. I spoke with Tasha about this. She said that when Jacket touched her to get her attention, it made her lose her count. His intent was good. I have the right count. But the impact was breaking her concentration.
That's actually really good insight. Like, think about that, like the perspective. Just like me saying, hey, Blanket, he can count to 100 because I believed in him, that I can make a change, that this is like, I wasn't going to control. But then he himself, what? Oh, Jacket, oh my God. Oh my, Michael Jackson's going to kill me.
What did you say, Blanket?
I said Blanket. I know. Oh no. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's kid.
Poncho.
No. I'm sorry, Jacket. I'm sorry. Just like Jacket, just like when I said, hey, he can count to 100 perfectly, I was trying to control my own fate, what was actually going on. So I have say, because I felt that was the right thing for me. At some point, we're all a little bit selfish that we want to be able to control our own fate. And he felt that moment because he's so confident that he can do it. Because I can feel confidence. He could actually do it. He himself believed it and exuded it. And so he's like, I don't care. He's going to just go up and try to correct the situation. But had so many cascading effects after that. He didn't read the whole other situations, how other people, the perception of it. Oh my God, didn't read the room. And it was like, it was quiet. You don't disturb the quiet, regardless of how right you are, because you don't know. But you know, that's how it played out.
Well, I think the biggest issue though is people all have these different unique strengths, but if you don't have the awareness that other people are having different ones and understanding how to intertwine yours with theirs, then you're just trying to overpower your strengths and just use your strengths. And you think this is the only right way, the only right perspective, the only right perception, without taking any consideration of how other people's perception works. It's great to have that understanding, but if you guys aren't on the same page with that, again, with that awareness aspect, it's chaotic, as we clearly saw.
I think it takes a lot of strength to know that one less voice is actually helpful. Yelling out and giving out your ideas, you're just one more voice in the crowd. And if everyone would have just had that self-reflection and been like, okay, let's take a minute and let someone talk one at a time, let the twin get a game plan together, that would have been better than everyone like, I need to hurry up and get my idea out instantaneously.
Leading up, I remember it was so chaotic in the room. I want to get overwhelmed. I need quiet and calm so we can make a decision. But I remember going up and was like, stop, quiet, everyone be quiet, everyone be quiet, everyone be quiet. Because no decision was gonna fucking happen that's gonna be good in this fucking chaos. I think I'm a chaotic person. I'm like all over the place. But when I am overwhelmed by what the hell is going on, I had to vocalize it so loudly, like, shut the F up, everyone. This is not productive whatsoever. My confidence was so shaken at that point already that it was like, oh my God. I said my piece and I'm gonna be quiet. That's all I can do. And I just sat back. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen from this point forward.
Henry, that is it. You, with your activator and positivity, tried to be an effective leader. You tried to get control, screaming, shut the F up, because as a chaotic person yourself, you knew no good decision could come from that level of chaos. But once you said your piece and the count began, you knew to sit back down and stay quiet. You intuitively became an NPC. And that is the core awareness 200 other people were missing. In a game like this, you have to know when to be the protagonist and when to be an NPC, the non-player character. You know, the generic guard or the townsperson whose only job is to be quiet, supportive, and stay in the background. Your job is to be irrelevant in that moment. The time to be a protagonist was during the decision-making phase before the count starts. That's when activators like me volunteered Roger to go up, and Henry pointed out that Jacket could count to 100 perfectly. That's when intellection like Ryan's should have been breaking down the math. And that is the coaching gold. Brittany, your question from earlier, what if we had the other twin, was the key. And Henry, your intuition about the edit was spot on. An effective leader does exactly what you both saw the X-twin do. He uses a raw strength-like command to get control of the room. All right, guys, shut up, listen. He uses input to gather the ideas. And then, just as Henry pointed out, he filters them. He shooed someone off, using a strength like deliberative to spot the risks and cut the bad strategies. And then he made the final call. That is a protagonist leader actually leading. But here's the real difference. The second their musician was chosen as the protagonist for their quest, look what their team did. They all became NPCs. That is what collective discipline looks like. They sat in silence. They trusted the plan and got ready to execute. Now, what did we do in contrast? The second, Ida and Tasha, were locked in as the O protagonists. We still had 200 people trying to be some sort of a main character. Our room could not get it together. That was the ultimate difference maker. And here's the lesson. When you try to be the protagonist at the wrong time, you don't just cause chaos. You risk becoming the antagonist, which is exactly what happened. That is why that lack of strengths awareness, especially in such a high-pressure team situation, was so fatal. Look at us four. We are loaded with influencing and strategic thinking strengths. We're the idea people, the self-starters. But the count wasn't a test for our kind of protagonist. It was a test of pure executing strengths at the end of the day. The X team won because their leader had command, and their team had collective discipline and focus. Our O team was critically missing those Gallup strengths from the executing domain. And that was the fatal flaw that led to the fate of O.
It didn't feel good, but it was so chaotic just leading up to when we pressed the button. Like, it was no like, oh, wow, we got this. No, it was, oh, we are screwed right now. It felt awful. Like, we weren't even, like, the plan didn't work out.
There's no support from anyone. Yeah, there's no support from anyone.
And then we were like, all right, we shouldn't hear her get to 456. So it's like, no.
I don't think she did.
Yeah,
she didn't.
Chaos broke out. Oh, shoot, hit the button. And so he finally hits the button. And we're like, yeah, no, that was awful.
A few seconds went by and then everyone was like, push it. Because there were so many people that were actually counting in their own heads. And so it was like, are all of these people closer? And he pushed the button, but he didn't push it right when everyone started saying pushing it. He looked at the two that were supposed to be counting and then he was between the crowd and those two.
Yeah.
And then he finally was like, okay, I'm pushing it. I think Tasha finished. I think the nurse wasn't, but I think Tasha put her hand up and that's when he pushed the button. But we were off by 12 seconds.
Allegedly.
So I'm wondering if allegedly, yeah. But it's I wonder how close it would have been if when the herd of people were push it, or if it was more of they said push it, now it needs pushed. I wonder if a majority of people were actually closer than what we thought they actually were. I feel like the plan didn't follow through. Like none of this aligned how it was supposed to. This is going to be dumb luck if we win this. Like our only hope is if that other team was worse. And it wasn't like, oh, wow, we were real close. Like, this is going to be a close game. It was like, man, I hope that other team sucked worse than we
The
did.
calm you saw on the other side, though, and then them like cheering for each other. We
Yeah.
got this. We got this. We got this. Was so stark.
3,
Now.
I was like, that's definitely not what happened on our side. There's no support. You can already see the blame game's about to happen. I was like, oh shit, the blame game is about to happen. Like regardless, afterwards, like it's running to people's head already. You can feel the energy in the air. There's no support whatsoever. No one was confident whatsoever.
Our twin presses the button. The room turns blue, literally and figuratively. We're all standing there just waiting. And it was a couple hours before we received the result. What was the feeling in the dorm before we learned our 12-second fate?
Well, there were like literal fist fights on our side.
Oh,
like
yeah.
we're like throwing people on the ground. People were swinging, cussing each other out. This looks like a bunch of barbarians.
Didn't
Yeah.
really feel like the winning team at that point, you know?
No, you didn't.
No. You guys are totally helping me recount like the whole situation. What's going? I think we all had a little bit of PTSD. I actually lost some like what actually really happened. Unless you guys are trying slowly filling some of the pieces in, I forgot because it was so chaotic in that room.
There's so many emotions to it. I don't want to say you trauma block it out, but it's like I can't just sit and process this over and over again because it's not going to do anything for me. Like nothing's going to change. I just have to move past it.
I'll always remember when the button actually got hit and all of our squid packs got off, like the just deflated energy. I will never forget that feeling of just how much energy was just sucked out of a room. I'll never forget that feeling. Like you got people crying.
Oh, they're just
You
like
gotta
they're on the
understand,
floor,
like,
just like tears dripping down, like on the floor, the tears dripping down. I was like,
it was bad. Like it was, oh my, and everyone's got these high hopes of either they're winning or they're at least going to be on Netflix on TV and their life's going to change completely. Everyone just gets pulled under the rug, and it was, that was heavy. I'll never forget that.
From an outside perspective, it's so much more emotional when you lose that early because people don't realize, like, it's not like I'm just like, I left my house and just drove over to the film studio and walked in and then I just went home. This was a month-long process to even get selected to go. Then you get there, you're like, you don't know what you're walking into. And it was days of prep after you already left the country to go do this. So there was just like so much energy, effort, and like excitement and whatever, but a lot went into this whole process to have it like ripped from you right at the beginning. Like you didn't even get to do anything. It really was, there was a 50-50 chance. You were completely gambling your own fate. And it ended right here. And I think that a lot of people just had really high expectations. And it was just like, wow, it's already over. I've been looking forward to this moment since, I mean, people got picked in July for the show to be filmed in January. I've been looking forward to this for like 6 months and it's over. I didn't even get to do anything. Like I'm done.
So how did you take it, Brittany?
Oh, I went into it knowing this game is luck. You can practice all you want. Like how Jacket was running and doing red light, green light. Like that would have been great for him, but that wasn't the game. Like you have no idea what you're getting into. And this season was so heavily relied on other people. Like the season 1 was very individualized. This season was like, if you look at the games that they went, it was like the 6-legged race, catch, mingle. Every single game has relied on another person or another player. You never had just your own fate in your own hands.
when I went in, I think I granted myself a gratitude, right? Out of everyone that got selected, like you are now the 456. So regardless, I already had in my mind, regardless of if I die or go home, whichever it may be, I'm just grateful about just being on the show itself. So when the pack actually hit, I was like, if I'm gonna die, I'm going to die with a smile. I was gonna like, this has been a fun time. I'm gonna make this like the fun part. If they were gonna do a screen on my face or anything at all, I'm gonna die with like, I just like make it jokey, make it funny, make it lively because come on, we were just all in this crazy show. It was just so much going on, but just grateful just to really just be able to be selected on it out of everything. That was my perspective and my take.
Yeah.
I was heated. I was like going off in production, like I didn't even play the game. I was so mad. But right after I slept, and like that next day, I was like, you know what? I'm so grateful for the experience. Like it was all in all, I met so many cool people in such a unique way. Like you have to honestly look at it that way. And I finally got to that.
I feel like I made peace with the situation too. And we were sitting there like, because you don't realize watching it, but hours went by from the moment we hit the button to when they actually told us. And we're just sitting there and they were like, oh, don't talk. Like everyone just like sit and wait. And I was just like, I feel like at that moment, simmer down. I feel like at that moment I made peace with it because I was like, either I'm going to keep playing or I'm going to get out, but I'm sitting in the physical dorms of Squid Games right now. I'm wearing the official Squid Game suit. Like I am here. I know I was here. I can forever tell people I was here. And I was so grateful for that. So I was like, whatever happens, happens. It's out of my hands. All I can do is just roll with what comes next. And that's what I did. And then I was also like, oh, I'm excited that even if I get out, I get my phone back. I can call my mom. I can talk to my family and friends. That was such a build up too. Like it was so exciting to be like, hey guys, like, I mean, now this sucks. But like, here I am. Like I can finally talk to somebody.
People were having a lot of drinks that night. I stayed away from it a little bit. It was a little too much emotion going on because I was already so happy just given to be on the show. I remember the nurse going out and crying. I could see her just trembling once we were just leaving after the show. I was like, oh my God, that weight on her. I just could not imagine being her just like at that moment in time. Did she feel like she failed us like that?
I think she really did have good intentions too. Like I don't think she wanted,
No,
she wasn't doing
definitely.
it for like fame or anything. Like I think she did the best she could. It just
She's a nurse, right?
What would have been the best
saves people's
strategy.
lives.
Yeah.
We've been analyzing the game, the strengths, the strategy, but the human cost, the weight on that nurse, that's profound. And it shows your empathy that you're even thinking about that. As we wrap up this literal post-mortem, what's the one lesson or the one final feeling you're taking away from the fate of O?
Just with R4, this is R4 like interpretation of what actually happened. I'm very curious what other people was thinking at the same time too.
I'll just say again, it's one of those things that even though our time was cut shorter than we all probably envisioned it, I'm so grateful to be a part of an experience like that. I live for just unique experiences. And I mean, that is one of the top ones that I will ever have in my life where you can't replicate that. It was awesome not only to meet everyone, but just to even go into the dorms and see where these games were being played and be a part of such a large production like that. Just got to be grateful for that at the end of it. So that's all.
I also think the self-growth that came out of it is tremendous. It's such a way to get out of your comfort zone, unlike any other way you can get out of your comfort zone. You're literally throwing yourself into the unknown, and it's going to be broadcasted on TV. Even though the time was short, the self-growth that comes of it is such a positive that you can use later on in life and grow from that experience.
Going off of that self-growth, I think one of the things I've most appreciated, we met a lot of people, so many different types of people you meet, and how the relationships that can be built in such a short amount of time is just really crazy. And always depend on the environment that you're put in and how that can accelerate whatever feeling you have. And it really impacted me a lot. I think one thing that's very separate from my personal experience is like going in, we all were isolated, right? It gave time to reflect. I appreciated Netflix and Squid Games giving us opportunity in this chaotic world today of how much stuff is going on. I enjoyed the 3 days of peace to myself and understanding what I want, what I needed, what I value. If you were to get the $4.56 million, what would actually happen? Like what things you can change, what values you have. It gave me time to think, and it gave me the serenity of, okay, this is who I am, and then take action after that. And that's what I really appreciated. You have that little piece, that inner peace that I didn't know that was going to be part of not just actually going on the show, that being able to have that sauce, like, wow, isolation sometimes is actually maybe a good thing to give yourself time to think about yourself.
Yes.
And that's something that I really took from there. I really did. That I now give myself a little bit of time to myself to kind of reflect on things, because that was a forced one. I got to do more of that for myself.
Yeah, I feel the same way. At the time, I hated it because I was spending so much time with myself and with my own thoughts that I'm not used to doing. And there were so many times I'm grabbing for my phone that's not even there. Now that I'm sitting here and I've literally thought about my life in every avenue I can, when I go back to the real world, I can't go back and act like this all didn't happen. Like, I feel like I was just like so motivated to do different things with my life. And I really evaluated like what was positive in my life, what I wanted to continue doing, and what I felt wasn't working out and what didn't serve me anymore. I need to take a new direction in a growth direction. I can't go back from this and just go back to where I was. I have to move on and grow from this. So I think that the self-reflection, though I hated it at the time, and I was like, get me out of this room. I was like looking to the people like, are they coming for dinner so I can talk to somebody? But I do think like sitting and being alone with your own thoughts is super important to disconnect and have that time to yourself. Even though you can be like uncomfortable in the time doing it, it's good to have that time.
The answers truly lie in the silence.
What a perfect, poignant way to end this episode. Ryan, Brittany, Henry, I cannot thank you enough for coming on, for being so open, so vulnerable. You've truly helped all of us understand the real story of Team O. And for everyone listening, our exploration of this game is far from over. The fate of O was about a group's collective failure. But what happens when the game forces you into an individual test of character? Next week on Squid Strengths, I'm sitting down with one of the main characters from episodes 3 and 4, Player 111, August. He was eliminated because he chose to prioritize his friends over winning millions of dollars. Was it a character flaw or his greatest strength in action? We discuss integrity, loss, and what it really means to win when we come back. To make sure you don't miss that incredible story with August, please follow or subscribe to Squid Strengths right now on Spotify or Apple. And if you want to see the full video of this trauma bonding session, you can watch the Squid Strengths podcast on YouTube at my channel, @coach.bryant_raymond. And with that, this is player 164, Coach Bryant Raymond. We'll see you next week for more Squid Strengths.